there's a pattern, and we all know that, though not always consciously. There's a certain time for breakfast, and before that a time for waking up by some internal, that in itself is mysterious. The body just knows that at a specific time, at a certain sequential time. I've never acknowledged the mystery of it. It's not exactly a skill that needs drawing attention to as I'm doing right now. Something passed down, ancient. I want to say the word human, but I get very nervous about using that word. I think we all do now. And we wake up. I imagine it's the brain that does the actual waking, but very often it feels like the bladder, like it's tipping over, and we wake for fear of... That's never happened to me. There was a friend, or was it a boyfriend? A man, right? Because of the quantity of... Yeah, I got to bed once or twice. Things ended, obviously, between me and him. Unlucky in love. I said that to someone once. There was coffee and a finished breakfast, a diner, American word, not mine, and a woman, I think. Let's just call her a friend of mine. And she was holding my hand across the table in a caring sort of way when I said those words to her, because I imagined before Joe, I was, well, I don't want to speak too clearly of emotions and give a false impression. But again, I don't want to fictionalise what can't even be remembered clearly, or even towards clearly, or even in the vicinity of clearly, when all clarity is slipping away, basically. I mean, you must feel the same way I do. Perhaps not to the same magnitude, or maybe even more. But since that day, when we all woke up as usual and stepped out into the morning, life's fallen away a little. The life before is what we're calling it. Tiny word, historical, obviously, as if it's already become nothing. Now, one day we were all standing on a cliff, and then that day happened, and since that day we're all standing on less of a cliff, and what's fallen away we're calling before, and where we're left standing now is what we're kept busy with, this something. So what exactly has fallen away, and to what has it fallen into? Good question. Too early to be answered, probably. And it's best to keep on moving forward. I mean, that's what we're all saying to each other. That was then, and this is now. But having said that, and wanting to hold on to at least one memory before it all disappears, there was a car, and not our car, and by our car I mean Joe and me. And the windows are down, and another couple who are nameless, they're in their seats in front of us, and their windows are down, and it's evening inside and out, and still hot, and it's not the city that I'm standing in, and it's not where I was born either, not in Ireland. And we were safe, me and Joe, safe and loose, actually, and warmed not just by the sun. We were warmed by our drinking what the other couple called evening cocktails, hence the looseness. The breeze through the window, more of a wind really because of the speed of the car and the heat of the air. And there was this music playing on the radio, and this scene is golden somehow, because there was me and Joe in the backseat of that car, and I felt something falling off the cliff a little earlier. I saw it almost. And what were once much fuller images of a girl are now just small pictures where she's standing on a school stage with other children and faceless parents somehow smiling, of the same girl behind a birthday cake, her fingers in her ears, of the same girl submerged in her bath, acting dead. All were once rendered in a much fuller, more satisfying story, but slimmed right down to words and single pictures, with each one demanding my presence. A cliff, a sea, God, what a terrible metaphor. A past made up of what I want to call them memories, but maybe not even my memories, because so dulled and faded they are, and lacking content or emotional connection, and often I'm not even in them. So maybe just given to me, these memories in script form to play some sort of role. Like the brain shows me pictures of weak-bladdered ex-boyfriends or spoken therapy in diners where these thoughts aren't even mine, is the feeling. So when I'm on a bus, like I was earlier, or walking on the streets or in the shops, and I see that cliff falling away, I try to hold on to these pictures of me as a girl, of my family and loved ones, of a place called Ireland, of a journey I must have taken, because I'm not there, but here in this city. And still, somewhat present I am in these pictures, and bound to them and made by them. But with each passing day, with each other hour, there's less of me, is the point I'm trying to make. So there was a car, and not our car, and by our car I mean Joe and me, and the windows are down, and another couple who were still nameless, they're in their seats in front of us, and their windows are down, and it's evening inside and out, and still hot. And it's not the city here I'm standing in, and it's not where I was born either, not in Ireland. And we were safe, me and Joe, safe and loose and warned by our drinking what the other couple called evening cocktails. And not New York, or back home, and not a city at all, but a town. Its name forgotten, never mind, carry on. And there are strangely shaped houses on the edge of this town. The heat is dry up here, hence the beer I'm holding. And the evening is horizontal, but the view is vertical. I want to say mountains. And somewhere here is Joe, but yet to place him here alongside the nameless couple and me on their outside porch. And the man is saying something about football, and I thank her for the drinks, and filled with the snacks, and aware of my weight and skin and teeth and the sound of my Irishness, which she likes, but he's indifferent to. There's a dog, a small dog, growling at my feet. If it could talk, it would tell me to fuck off. And something unpleasant in the man standing on his parched lawn, standing like a bear in flip-flops, his toenails raggedy. His talking is constant, like mine is right now, but his talking is controlled, of even mind. Off the cliff and in the sea, and this terrible metaphor, too late to change, and the whole of my past has disappeared from that day since, and moment by moment it disappears from what we called before, when that was then and this is now, and too frightened to ask what happens next. But holding on to that evening before the car, and open windows and warm breeze, and where is Joe exactly? The man's talking is constant, and I'm tuned out and into her questions, and in between sips, because evening cocktails now, and questions about back home, answered generically the Irish way. I give her what she wants to hear, and stay in this last memory a little while longer, not wanting to reach that moment of me and Joe in the car just yet, and stay a little longer with off the cliff and in the sea, and this terrible metaphor, too late to change, and the whole of my past has disappeared from that day since, and moment by moment it disappears to what we called before, when, and me, silent and sitting on that porch and listening to questions about Ireland in that strangely shaped house with a view of a mountain, and I want to say the word tows? I don't even know what that word means. And the drinking is souring her and him, and my feet burning on the porch, the dog growling at their broken fence and telling it to fuck off. His talking raggedy and raised now, as is his hand. Her face clumsily struck, him stammering out apologies, her slapping his head, the ridiculous theatre of the two of them. And then later, when the suns turned the evening golden, and in the back of their car, in a town I've forgotten, and the windows are down, and the nameless couple are in their seats in front, and the air is hot. Whose hand was in mine? And there must have been a childhood, and parents for me, and brothers and sisters, maybe. House, of course. Who can each morning by some internal, what you call it. Everything is gone. All is forgotten. Everything. So what now?
Something died, so I waited for nothing, and nothing arrived. It's our dearest ally, it's our closest friend, it's our darkest blackout, it's our